My exhibition presentation. Please look at the notes for my PowerPoint. The focus of my research is to introduce an alternative to the text-based postal method of communication that I currently employ to contact my tenants. My purpose is to make communications more frequent in order to save paper and to promote and encourage a healthy client-landlady/owner relationship. Most of my career has been spent in a hospital or educational environment where communication is paramount, and that is why I considered improved communication methods will benefit my tenants and myself as a landlady. I would like to think my action inquiry is important to other private landlords or landladies, as all too often the only contact they have with their tenants is by post. I would like to show that by using email or text messages if they don't have access to a computer, they can save time and paper-based resources and provide an improved method of communication. There are two distinctive research methodologies, a natural science and a social science method. The main distinction between each research methodology concerns human beings. When studied in their natural setting, they make sense of their own reality through interpretation, meaning, and reflection. This is an action research cycle that I'm going to do. It's Kurt Lewin's Plan, Do, and Review. The first model of information transmission was developed by Shannon and Weaver in 1949. It is purely linear. The noise they refer to is white noise because their work was in radio transmissions. This is an example of what communication is not. Why? Because the context of the message can get misinterpreted between the originator and the source for a variety of reasons, such as technical problems, insufficient data or knowledge, lack of self-esteem, lack of available time, fear of rejection, knowledge of audience, lack of clarity, or failure to respond with affirmation of understanding. This is a mind map that I constructed of effective communication. How do we communicate? Alistair Cockburn, 2002, described the various methods of communication that people utilized when working together. He talks about richness and warmth in the chosen communication channel. The most effective method is face-to-face at the interactive whiteboard. However, the point I would like to emphasize is that the effectiveness is dependent on the situation and context. One person may find face-to-face with the use of an interactive whiteboard to be the most effective mode, whilst another may find email to be the most effective. These are examples of theories of communication. I constructed a questionnaire for my pilot exhibition, and it was based on a Likert scale. There were also open-ended questions. These are some of the examples of responses to my questions. I looked at my bias, and these are examples of bias that I've written down. Here are some examples of responses to open-ended questions in my pilot exhibition. For my main exhibition, I used the Eileen Piggott Irvine model for Cycle 1. This is because it allows for spin-off cycles, which comes from themes and subplots. This is the problem-resolving action research model. These are examples of the semi-structured interview questions I used, and from these there were emergent questions. The most important one was, why is it that there are so many ladies who are letting agents, yet there are not many ladies as estate agents? I related some of my findings to theory or research that I'd used in my literature review. In Cycle 2, I gave my tenants a questionnaire and asked them for their responses on a Likert scale. Could I relate my findings to any theory or research work I had used in my literature review? In Cycle 3, my survey population consisted of 6 participants who did not represent the population as a whole. However, as collaborators into investigating my working practice and therefore informing my communication policy, their input was valid. The participants preferred to be contacted by SMS text messaging for non-urgent "Hi, how are you?" catch-up messages on a monthly basis. For those who did not use a computer at work, they considered that email would get lost amongst junk mail and probably viewed their emails less frequently. They felt that if a situation was urgent, they would let me know by telephoning me. Has any evidence come to light? A study of 1,400 office workers found that 2 out of every 5 people would expect a response to an SMS text message within an hour before considering it rude. It also concluded that SMS texts are the communications most subject to misinterpretation. This reinforces my policy for written formal communication via the postal system. Does it help answer my research question? Yes, because the process of action inquiry has made me conclude that the introduction of electronically delivered mail will not improve communication as much as the introduction of SMS text messaging and trust between landlady and tenant. With the fast-moving speed of digital communication technologies, I think different styles and genres of communication practice will be developed. Although text messaging will probably become obsolete, my study shows that the boundary between technology and face-to-face communication remains blurred. However, in 2007, face-to-face remains the preferred method of communication.